Hello and welcome into Junk Journaling with Emily. We are going to continue on where we left off in our last video. Now I made these tags off camera and I just decorated them, layered them. And this one has a piece of paper and birds layered, but I'm realizing that the paper in the back is not really, it's really floppy. So I'm coming in and I'm adding a cardstock piece of paper to the back here just to give it some more structure to the piece. And I'll glue that down and trim around this piece as well so that it fits into the square here. Now, if you want to know what glue I'm using here, I am using Fabtech glue. It's an all-in-one glue. I use that both for my paper and for my fabric. It's just easier for me to just have one glue here. And I go ahead and trim this up with some decorative edge scissors. I round off the tag corners and then we're going to distress that. I'm trying to bring it in a little bit more blue, so I bring in some blue from this distress ink pad. And I'm very messy with this. I'm not really worried about being so perfect because I want a really aged, rustic look for my journal here. And I'm just layering up both the distress inks and vintage photo as well as that blue shade. I add that back into the pocket, and for this little piece I come in and add this piece of fabric ribbon I found in my stash. I'm going to trim that up to fit, and then we'll move on to our next step here. Like always, I'm flipping through the pages to see where I want to add or take away and just see how the book flows. I just added a little stamp wording to that tag, and then I'm just going through making sure that the pockets are all filled here, and we have one more pocket here to fill. So we're going to go ahead and work with this scrap piece of paper, and it was interesting how it fit perfectly into that slot. I go ahead and trim the corners, come back in with the distress inks, and then I'm going to decorate this a little just to give it a little bit of a decor element, I guess. And I'm coming in with just leftover scrap pieces of paper, and I'm just ripping them up to place them and layer them onto this tag. Now, I wasn't quite sure where I was going with this, but I just allowed my mind and the freedom I needed to decorate this piece. You guys let me know in the comments if you like this. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but I am adding the striped lines here just to have a writing space. And you realize here my tag keeps moving on me, so I'm putting more pressure. I just have this little stick tool that I get with my IOD products, and I'm just using that like a ruler and a regular pen here and adding these lines. Now you can also print out line paper if you want it. You can go on Etsy and find some pretty line paper, but remember on this piece I'm just using products I have on hand, not really adding anything else to the product, the junk journaling here. So I come in with some Fabtech glue and glue this little piece on, then realize it had 2 layers to it. So I go back in, distress that piece, and then I just go ahead and rip out one of these little flowers here and add that to the top there, just layering up the piece. Now I can add more if I want to later, but right now this is where I am, and I go ahead and round out those corners and distress them back up. Now I found this fabric piece in my stash, and I'm going to add this to this tag, and I'm going to make a loop on the top using my glue again to attach these pieces. And then I think that's it for now, so we'll go ahead and add that to, I added that to our journal. I don't remember where I added it, you guys. I must have skipped some here, but I'm going to continue looking through, flipping through, and I think, you guys, our first signature is actually complete here. And you know, I don't know if I'll come back and add more, but right now this first signature is okay where it's at. So we're going to move on to our second signature here. This is just another tag here that I made off camera with some scrap pieces of paper. Now I come in with this stationery pack I found on clearance at Hobby Lobby, and I'm just going to go ahead and add some of these pieces into our journal here, adding a little pocket here with a flap to go out. And I'm not sure if I'll put the matching piece inside. Maybe I will, but For now, we're going to cut it in half and see what we come up with. Go ahead and trim this down the center and come back in with my decorative scissors. Now remember, junk journaling is all about your creativity and what you want to do in your piece, and to make it your own and make it as layered and as colorful or as lacy or anything you want it to be. I add some distressing inks to the outside of this piece. And I'm not quite sure if I really like the blue in here, but I'm just going with it since I already have this down. I'm just trying to add some color to here because it's very, like, a little bit bland and I want just hints of color. I don't know if I achieved that. You guys let me know, or if it does, it just look messy. But I'm going to tuck this piece back in there and I will continue on with this blue shade, edging up this envelope. Now, as far as covering up that little flap there, I am going to come in with some extra paper that I found, and I'm going to layer up this piece. Once again, coming in with one of those labels to the bottom piece here. Initially, I was going to make it a pocket, but the paper's too flimsy for that. And then this is just a scrap piece of paper from one of my sticker purchases, and I'm using that because it has some birds and a little bit of pink flowers. And I use everything, you guys: labels, scrap pieces, whatever it is I can get my hands on that can transform into something cute into my junk journal. Now we have this other piece that we're working with, and I'm going to add it here to our dictionary page here so that there is a writing space, and leave the room in the back so that you see those hint of the dictionary words. Then I just come in to add a little bit of decorative pearls here on the corner. It's kind of like a leaf. It's the ribbon that has flowers and stuff on it, and those are one of the leaves that were on there. I go ahead and come back in with a piece of cardstock, and I trim this up to size because I'm going to add this to the other page. Now I trim the corners again, rounding them out, and then we are coming back in with that Fab Tack glue and gluing this piece onto our page here. Now you can also write on this paper as well. You can put pictures in here. You can do whatever you want. And then I come in and also found this little scrap piece of ribbon, and I go ahead and attach that to the edge of our piece here. Now the junk journal will continue to change in its look as you add more pieces and more layers to your piece. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the next dictionary page, if I'll cover it or leave it as is. But I do come in with this printed music sheet paper here. It's just on regular printer paper. And I'm going to attach that in. On my next journal, maybe I'll go ahead and, decorate and fill up the pages before I sew it into my book, just so that I don't have to glue pages in like this. Even though this does work, I'm going to try it the other way as well so that you can learn along with me how to do that as well. I'm coming in and aging up some more pages here that I found that were blank, again with that distress ink and vintage photo, and just layering up this piece. Coming back in with a bird page from our book here, going to add that decorative edge on here, and then I'm going to add this to this page, and I want it to be a flap out, so I fold in the edges here, and then I glue that edge to the paper. And now it's a flap out. So I'm going to continue on with this paper, layering up this little flap because I do want some writing room on the back here. So I'm coming in with just a blank piece of paper, and I'm going to attach that to this book page here. When I flip it over, I realized that it was actually my pretty paper that I use, but it's okay. I'm going to just go with it, and I'm going to zhuzh up those edges here with my distress ink. Then we'll go ahead and glue this piece down, and you will have some writing room in that flap out as well. So for my journals, I like a lot of writing room because I myself have junk journals where I write in them as well. And if you want to purchase the IOD products that are the stamps that I'm using here on this video, I'll have an affiliate link down in the description. So I'm coming back in with those stamps that we use from IOD, and I'm going to just add some little bird stamps here with a little stand, and we'll continue to decorate this piece. Once again, flipping through the book and seeing where I add. Here's another piece of scrap paper that I'm going to add to the corner and making a little pocket here. Making sure I distress the page to give it that age look. And then I'm going to continue on with more stamping and layering up these beautiful little stamp like domes or cloches, adding a little bird's nest here inside that cloche. Now I come in with my brown ink first, and then I layer over the black just to give it some more dimension and some more color in there. I add a little wording stamp on the top, and then this page is complete. Now I'm just going through the book now, just adding pieces, and I brought in blue butterflies and just trying to use what I have, you guys. So I'm coming in and I'm going to add lines to this page as well. I use this box instead with some stamping so that it has more weight to it so it doesn't move around. Come back in with my regular pen here, and I make lines for a stationery page. So this is a piece of rice paper I found in my stash. I try to cut it, but it doesn't quite work. But I decided to come in and just swirl some ink on here. I'm not sure if I'll keep this page. You guys let me know if you think this page is okay. I'm not sure if I like it, but I do go ahead and glue it in. I stamp it with a beautiful bird cage on there and then add it to our book. And then I found this paper. It has kind of the colors that we're using here. So I decided to add it in to bring in a little bit more color. And then I did decide later that I don't really like all the color on here. So you'll see me come back later and kind of just do my thing to that piece to just fit it into my journal better. And on this page, I decided to come back in with those lines and add a writing page here. Even though you can write on the blank page, I'm just adding lines to give it a little bit more something extra, I guess. Go ahead and fold my flap back in, and now I'm deciding that I need to come in and decorate this little page here and add a little bit more to it. First, I come in and add that distressing inks all around this page, hitting those butterflies and really aging this piece up. Now I'm coming in with Tim Holtz vintage photo here, and then I decide let's go ahead and bring in that pocket here with our envelopes we got from Hobby Lobby, and I go ahead and add that to the center and continue on gluing that in. Now I want to camouflage that little piece there, but first I'm coming in with that same IOD stamp set, and I'm going to put some floral designs on there, and then I found some ribbon that I decide to add to the edge here, and I'm just going to trim that to size, come back in with my Fab Tac glue and glue that piece down. And then I found this little scrap of beads ribbon and I add that in. I come in with a little faux piece of leaf, and then I come in with also a little pink rosebud fabric flower, and I add that to the top as well, layering those pieces in. And I decide to come in with just a blue piece of scrap paper and add that to the base, bringing in that blue tone and just adding some more layers here, you guys. Now I have this book page I found. I'm trimming this to a size and I'm putting that decorative edge on there. And the little scrap pieces, I put another layer, that way you can have a little label and mark that book. So here's where we're at as far as the outside look of the piece. And now I'm just flipping through again to see where I want to add, take away, change up, whatever it is that you want to do. I found another piece of these tags here, and I'm just going to distress the edges, and I'm going to add that into our journal somewhere. I come back in with another cute little dome here, and I press that into our blank page, and then I'm going to decorate around that, and I decide to add those lines into the center of the piece here, and then I'll decorate the outside of our page. I put in the word notes here with just a pen and my own handwriting. And then let's see what I do with this page here. I go ahead and come in with this card and I add that there, but then I think like it needs more. I don't know, you guys, I might be overloading this page, but you let me know down in the comments. I come in with one of those little pearl leaves here from my ribbon, and this ribbon I actually got from Temu. And then I come back in with a little bird. I stamp that in the side there, and I decide to come in with some florals and some blue ink and add florals to the base of the piece and to the top edge of the piece. And then I think I complete with this page. I flip through my journal a lot, just seeing how everything is flowing and how if I want to add anything into, if I'm missing any pockets or if I want to add anything or if I want to rip something out also. So I'm coming in just seeing how the second part is flowing with the first part. And I wanted the second signature just to be a little bit different. So I come in more with blue here. I'm going to go ahead and stamp a bird design over that music sheet page. And then I find this half a piece of an envelope here from one of my bills. And I go ahead and add that somewhere into our journal. And I just decide to add it to this little page here. And I'm going to glue that down. And then we are going to decorate the inside of the journal, leaving that little pocket or see-through slot there. And I'm just gonna put some music on and let you guys watch, and if I need to come in and talk, I will do that. For the outside here, I decide to decorate it with some of this lace I find. So I go ahead and layer lace on the outside, and then we'll go ahead and worry about how we're going to edge up that pocket, because I do not want it white. I want it that blue paper that we used on the inside to be on the outside. Here I just come in with my pen and I trace around that little window and I cut it. Now it would have been easier for me to cut with an X-Acto knife, but I did not find it, so I'm coming in with my scissors here and just trimming around that little tracing section that I made here. And then we'll go ahead and add this to the inside of our cover. I glued the piece in and then I'm coming in and just trimming off all the excess here. And then we're going to layer just strips of the little pieces of paper on the outside of our junk journal here, just to cover up that white and give it some color. And instead of trying to trace around it and put a piece there, I just make little strips here and cover up those pieces. 2 strips, one on the top, one on the bottom, and then 2 little pieces cut on the sides. Once again, aging up the piece with some Distress inks and vintage photo, and then we'll go ahead and add something to the top. And I think I'm going to make this one a pocket, so we'll come back in and trim that little hole at the end. But I'm going to round the corners, add my glue to the 3 sides of this piece after I add in that distressing inks to age up the piece. And then later we'll come back and add a tag for that little pocket. I'm just heavily distressing everything in this journal. And then I decide I want a pocket here on the bottom as well. So I come in with some scrap piece of paper and just trim up a piece to make into a pocket here. Like our other pocket, we'll come back in later to worry about what we're going to add in those pieces. I'm going to go ahead and round off a little loop here or a little notch, and then we're going to stop here. I thank you guys all for joining me, and I hope to see you guys on the next one.